Hello everybody. Today we're talking about taking 10 from within 20. Now I know what you're thinking. Mr. Menez, we did bigger numbers yesterday. And you're right, we did. But that was about taking out things from multiples of 10. Not so much consistent strategy. Okay, so once again, we're talking about removing numbers from multiples of 10. So this time, we're going to walk through step by step how to work out this strategy. So for example, we're going to work on first taking out 10 and subtracting from numbers. We're going to start with a simple one, 30 minus 7. Okay, so if our goal is to take out 10, the first thing we're going to do is look at where we can take 10 from. Can we take 10 from 7? No. There's not enough there for us to take 10 out of. We can take 10 from 30. So let's go ahead and number bond 30 and take out 10. Well, once we've number bonded 30 and we take out 10, what's left is 20. Okay, from here, we can move on to our next step. We can now subtract our 7 from our 10. 10 minus 7 equals 3. It's an easy question for us, which is why we want to take out 10. Just like I said last time. 10 is our friendly number, and we want to make sure that we know how to use 10, because 10 can help us make things easier. Once we've done that, we have to then take our remaining numbers, which are 20 and 3. And we add those together. We add our remaining numbers. 20 plus 3 equals 23. And that's a quick and easy example. Work another one. This time, let's do 70 minus 5. Same thing we're going to do before. We're going to pull out 10 from 70. What's left over is 60. So the parts that make up 70 here, we can see again, are 60 and 10. If we add these two together, we'll get 70. That's how you double check if you've number bonded correctly. Next, we can move on to adding and subtracting. First thing we do is 10 minus 5 as our first step, and that equals 5. Again, this is an easy question for us to do. That's why we want to pull out 10. 10 gives us easier things to work with, instead of using 70, for example. But we can't forget to add in our remaining numbers. So we have to add in 60 and this new 5 we have. So 60 plus 5 equals 65. And if you want, you can double check to see if that's correct by counting up from 65. 65 plus 1 is 66, plus 1 is 67, plus 1 is 68, plus 1 is 69, plus 1 is 70. From 65, we move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, plus 5 to get to 70. Let's try another example. Let's look at another number, 80. 80 minus 8. Okay, so we need to number bond 80. The first thing we do is pull out 10, because we want our favorite friendly number to help us make subtraction easier. But now we have to ask ourselves, when we pull out 10, what's the other part that makes up 80? Well, if you've been counting by tens and doing your practice, you know that 70 is the other component when you pull out 10 from 80. From there, we can go ahead and do our steps. 10 minus 8 equals 2, an easy question for us to do. And then we have to add in the other things. 70 plus 2 equals 72. And that is our answer. For our last one that I want to quickly run through, let's look at 90 minus 8. Okay, so let's take out 10 from 90 using a number bond. What's the last component? Yep, 80. Now that we've number bonded 90, we can go ahead and do our 2 steps to get our answer. 10 minus 8 equals 2, as we know. And then 80, we have to add our 2 remaining numbers together, plus 2 equals 82. Pulling out 10 and being able to use it is a key strategy for our next couple of chapters. We're going to need it for the rest of adding and subtracting. This is why it's important for us to practice adding by 10 and counting by 10 and subtracting from 10. Okay, so let's move on to something today. Let's do a visual representation of this question real quick. I'm going to say 10 minus 9. So let me first draw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces. Now if I wanted to subtract 9, I'm going to go ahead and cross out 9 of them. What's left? Right, it's 1. Okay, let's look at a slightly different one. Let's look at 11. Here, let me erase this up top real quick and then rewrite it so I can keep it straight. Let's look at 11. Let's start with 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's do 11 minus 9. Let's give ourselves a little extra space. And we're going to cross out 9. What do we have left? 1, 2. 11 minus 9 is 2. Now, we can see that number bonding here we can use number bonds here to make sense of this. So let's number bond 11. Let's pull out 10. If we pull out 10 from 11, we have 1 left. Now, when we subtracted 9 from 10, we can see it here, 10 minus 9. We crossed out 9 in red of these 10 dots. We ended up with 1. And then we add together the remaining pieces. We have 1 piece here and 1 piece here. So 1 plus 1, we end up with 2. Let's do another one. Let's look at 12 minus 3. Sorry, my mistake. 12 minus 9. I'm going to draw the dots in a different color from the numbers this time, just for clarity's sake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let's number bond 12 really quickly. When we pull out 10 from 12, we're left with, this side's 10, we're left with 2. Okay, now let's do some subtraction. We're going to do 10 minus 9. And we've crossed it out. 10 minus 9. Okay, what does that leave us with? 10 minus 9 leaves us with 1 green dot on the left side. And now we have to add what's left over. We have a 1, and we're adding in 2. And that means we have 1, 2, 3 total left over, which, coincidentally enough, 12 minus 9 equals 3. All right, let's move on to an application problem that will practice this skill. So this application problem says, Ricardo gave 5 tacos to his sister. He started with 13. How many tacos does Ricardo have left? Now, this one's written a little bit differently than some of the other word problems we've had. Most of the word problems we have just give you the total to start with and then ask how much we take away. This one tells us how many that we're getting rid of first before telling us our total. Okay, so let's, first things first, we're going to do RDW. Read, draw, write. Well, we read, so we can check that off. Now, thank you. We check off reading. Now we need to draw. So let's see. We need to find our numbers first, 13 and 5. So let's do the total first. We use red because tacos are spicy. So Ricardo had 13 tacos. Yes, I know they kind of look like dinosaur teeth. I'm trying my best. 10, 1, 12, 13. Okay, Ricardo had 13 tacos. He gave 5 to his sister. So, green, because sharing is good. How many tacos does Ricardo have left? Well, we can just count from here. But I'm not going to. Okay, we've drawn our picture, so now we're going to write. 13 minus 8. 13 minus 5, my mistake. All right, so let's look at what we can do. We can use a number bond if we want to. We can also count, we can use a number bond up here if we want to. We can also count each of these taco shells that are left over that don't have a green line through them. I will go ahead and redraw this as a tape diagram. So here we go. Here we have our total number of tacos. If I can write this, 13. 13 tacos. He gave away 5. And we don't know how many he has left. That looks like heft. Let me fix that. Left. Okay. Well, if we're going to do this with a number bond, 13 minus 5, we do what we normally do. We start by pulling out 10, and then what's left over? All right, 3. 10 minus 5 gives us 5, and then from there we add everything that's left. 5 plus 3 equals 8, which is the same answer we got over here. And we can also count to make sure that it's correct with our tacos. So as we've checked multiple times now, using number bonds, although initially a little cumbersome, which means hard to use, can make adding a lot easier because you break it into smaller chunks that are easier to do. Okay. Now you have your own chance to practice your problem set, which has several questions for you to practice, taking out 10 and subtracting from. Now, like yesterday, there will be a second follow-up video just to close out by reintroducing the strategy to everybody and doing a couple of examples of the harder questions in this problem set before you do the exit ticket. So go ahead, set a 15-minute timer, give yourself a little extra time to do stuff, and try your best to complete the questions.